Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel at VAG Technic in our lovely small office. And I'm just looking at the emails from Michael, a subscriber. So hello Michael, you're the guy dropping us the Golf R. And the car is actually already here, and we were having a discussion outside yesterday, and he was mentioning his valve cover or rocker cover is leaking. However, unfortunately, the price what I gave him was only a price for a timing chain replacement, so that's additional labor to do. Also, however, this engine, Golf R 2-liter petrol, don't have like a rocker cover gasket. It's all like sealant. So I'm not sure what happened. We have to check if the oil is actually getting into the cold pack area where the spark plugs and stuff, clean it up. And if that's the case, it will definitely make sense to do it now, because it's a whole carrier with the camshaft. If it's gonna be coming off, it's better to do it now and reseal it, clean and make sure it's all good. So this is the email what we've been sent, and as you can probably tell, he will be supplying his own parts. Usually we don't take cars when people are supplying their own stuff. He did call me. I did give him a bit of advice what else he need to get. I still have to order a few O-rings and stuff, so it's not that bad. However, if you're gonna send us an email that you want to do something with your own parts, we're probably gonna refuse the job. This is like one-off what we will do. It's mostly for a video purpose really, and this guy was alright and everything. So yeah, the car is already outside, so we're gonna check it. We'll plug it on the diagnostic, have a look for any fault codes and stuff, put it on the ramp, check how the engine may look like, and we're gonna go through all the parts what the owner brought and what we have to order, and we're gonna get to it. So stay tuned. Golf R coming up. And welcome to our workshop. Loads of things going on, loads of things. RS4 blue one, which is here for a very long time, slowly been putting back together. You can do a video afterwards. The calipers are back from refurbishment because there was a problem with the bleeding valve. Again, unfortunately, the surface where it will go together is painted, so we have to sort it out. Nothing major still. Miroslav is working hard, Dave is working hard, everyone is working hard. So RS5, which has a coolant damage from the cooler. The engine is already back in, fully built, forged with catalytic converters and 7 million things. Mr. Philip, YouTuber, recording everything. S3 after Donington, poor car, and we're gonna move this away and we're gonna put the Golf R in. So 99,000 miles, it looks pretty clean. You've got the digital cluster, which is lovely. I think that was like retrofitted, because this is a 66 plate, so I don't think this have it from a factory. But let's put it on the run. We plug it on the diagnostic. There's no engine lights or anything, just gonna make sure there's no fault codes in the engine before we're gonna start the work, and then we will continue. And before we do anything, we're running a full scan. So first of all, engine control module, the car done 99,000 miles on the clock. So we have two fault codes in the engine ECU, some data bus receive error message, and also oil pressure regulating valve. So this is like electric valve which is regulating the oil pressure onto the bottom of the engine. I'm gonna contact the owner and see what he says when I replace it. I'm also checking the phase position on both camshaft just in case it's like out or what's going on with it. You can see 0.7 and minus 1.5 degree, which is absolutely fine. You will never get it to a zero, and there's also gonna be like different numbers, plus minus up to 5-6 degrees, which is sort of normal. I'm also gonna do a test on the camshaft adjuster, so we are checking the actual and the specified values. I wanna make sure they're operating properly. It's always good to check it and make sure everything is good before you start the job, because if you ain't gonna do it before and you might have fault codes afterwards or something is not operating properly, it's a bit too late, then scratch your head like, was it before, or I've done something wrong. So we always try to check as much as we can so we can continue the work. Wow. Okay guys, so engine, 4-cylinder, long time no see. So mainly we'll be working on this part of the engine, and of course I can straight away see there's a downpipe. So I don't think this car actually have a catalytic converter. There's a different intake, and the owner of the vehicle was mentioning that he have oil in the coil pack area and into the spark plugs. If that's the case, you gotta remove the camshaft carrier and reseal it. But also I did mention that these solenoids for the camshaft, they have like O-rings, so they should be replaced because I think they're a bit oily. But I can't get the O-ring from TPS, so we'll check them, we'll figure it out, and let's check all the parts what the owner have. So, he did bring us timing chain cover, the lower part, Febby, my favorite. Then we have these bolts for camshaft adjusters. This is the timing chain kit from Aina. Then he brought us a genuine, the bridge, the oil supply for the camshaft adjusters, and some other stuff. What's this? PCV, oil, and yeah, plenty of things. So I'm really hoping we have everything what we need here and we can start the job. And we just took the covers off from the wheel arch and under tray, and straight away we can see something was going on. There's a tiny oil leak in the corner, a bit, and of course somebody had an extra tube of a silicone, and you ain't gonna dry it on your table when you can put it on the oil sump. Of course, proper, big time. So I think we will need a new oil sump. Also, because you have too much silicone and you ain't gonna dry it on your table, you will silicone the sensor. And also you will use the gasket and you put silicone underneath the gasket as well. So unfortunately, straight away I have to call the owner because we can't have a cancer silicone botch like this. And I think we have to get a new oil sump on the beginning. So to actually get to the timing, we gotta drop the reservoir for the windscreen washers and too many things. So let's get to it. From the side, we disconnect everything from the reservoir. From the top, the small part of the reservoir was removed. We also put aside the coolant bottle, disconnect the fuel hose to the high pressure fuel pump. EVA was disconnected, we'll continue from the top. So coil packs, spark plugs are coming out, PCV, whatever is on the top. We will check if there's actually leaking oil in them. Then we have to hang the engine somewhere, probably here, and we will be taking the engine mount off and getting to the timing chain.
I'm not gonna lie to you kids, it's a f***ing jungle out there. Keep your head on tight. Unknown brain and mind me, baby, let's do it.
Okay, so we removed the most retarded bolts with the nuts for these ground cables because it's a 4-cylinder, absolutely amazing. Also, this connector is broken because I don't know why. And unfortunately, the other one will be broken in 3 to 1. This one is actually already cracked. This one was the only one we'd managed to come out somehow. And this is the most retarded system ever by Volkswagen. We put a bolt with a stud, and the nut is tied with more Newton meters than the actual bolt holding the coil pack. So I feel very sorry for everyone who's working on these 4-cylinder milky engines every day, because we'll probably have a V6 out like that in the time where I've just get to this point. The coil pack's out. I don't see any oil until we get to the last cylinder, so that is unfortunately filled with oil. So we will continue stripping the whole top off. Okay, so the air filter, high performance filter is out. I think this turbo is not genuine, looks like a hybrid to me, but you never know. Anyways, we have to remove the filter and the intake for one reason. The high pressure fuel pump and the vacuum pump gotta come off because these bolts are actually tied to the carrier for the camshaft, so that's gotta be all taken off. I already ordered a gasket for it. Also, I would like to reseal all these valves which are on the top. However, I can't get O-rings for them from TPS. They don't sell them separate. One valve is 50 quid, we need 8 of them, too much money, can't do it. So next up, we're gonna remove that, and then we have to make our way to the whole timing chain setup.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you kids, it's a f***ing jungle out there. Keep your head on tight, unknown brain and mind me, baby, let's do it.
The vacuum pump and high pressure fuel pump is removed, so you can see how it's working. Again, you have a piston in there, it's moving the pump up and down, which is creating the fuel pressure. So I think we can move on to the timing chain somehow. Well, we have to hang the engine somewhere here, that's the point. We gotta remove the engine mount and also the rest of the bottle from underneath, so we can finally get to the whole timing
See me
chain.
flying, never drop down, smoking high, am I am not round. Got now, I got now, keep an eye out, keep it locked down.
Okay, so the old sump is off, we will have a new one tomorrow. And right now we try to figure out the timing. So there is a simple triangle somewhere here on the chain cover, you can see it. And there's also a cut somewhere on the crankshaft pulley, which I don't see anywhere yet, but we'll find it. So that will be our timing position. And then unfortunately we can't really hang the engine up from the top because there's no space and there's just no way how to hang it. So we have to do like a compromise. So the car will be somewhere on the ground so I can work from the top and from the underneath as well, and we have to put something somewhere to hold the engine in place. Okay, so the crank pulley is off. Of course, before that I put the engine in the timing position, so the cut on the pulley, which is here, there you go, was on the triangle. So that is our timing position. Also, right now I'm thinking, before we're gonna go down, I will remove all the bolts which are accessible. So probably even from the whole timing chain cover. And then we're gonna work ourselves from the top and we're gonna take the engine mount off. We have to put the engine somehow from underneath the position so it's holding. So let's continue. So the engine mount is removed along with the bracket, so we will continue with both of the timing chain covers. There's a dipstick, good, so we have to remove the whole tube. And we will reveal how the timing chain looks like after 100,000 miles, and then we still have to continue from top of the cylinder head. So we took all the timing chain covers off, the plastic and the metal one, both of them will be replaced. The reason why the plastic one, it's twisting between these points, you can have leaks. And the bottom one, it's metal, so it's silicone on 2 double pins, that's twisting as well, so you can bend it slightly. It will never hold it with the sealant together, so there will be no leaks. Always advised to replace these covers. The timing, as it is pretty simple. You have these marks on the camshaft adjusters, one and the second one. Also, there's another chain for the balance shaft and water pump, I believe. You can see the marking again on another chain with the sprocket over there. This is the main oil tensioner. This is the second oil tensioner. So they will be both replaced. Remember this, how long it is, how it's sticking out. We will compare with the new chain afterwards. From the bottom, there's another chain, what I mentioned, to the oil pump. So the oil pump have literally in no position, so it doesn't matter which way it will go. But you have a mark position over there and definitely on the wheel over there, and there should be another one over there. Yes, you can see the dot and the different chain color. So we are very far away from putting it back together, because right now we have to remove this oil bridge, which is oil supply for the camshaft adjusters. That will be taken off. And we have to reseal the camshaft carrier. There are no O-rings, just the silicone. So we have an oil leak from there to the spark plug. You can see it's filled with oil. So we have to do that first, and then we're gonna strip the whole timing chain setup off and put everything in. We removed the main timing chain along with the brackets and everything. They look good. These valves have like opposite thread. I need a tool for them to release them. They're not really tight, but I need a tool. And right now, next up, we'll drop off the camshaft carrier. So that needs to come off. We will check it, clean it, and probably silicone it back on. Okay guys, so the camshafts are in place. It was a bit of a fun to clean whatever was there. It wasn't a silicone, that's like a factory glue, I would call it. It was really hard and quite tough to actually take it off the surface and clean it up properly. And now we just put good old silicone. So silicone is a bit of a more flexy thingy, so that should be okay. And I also have a bit of a problem to put the exhaust camshaft back in there because of those solenoids. The camshaft profile can actually move, didn't really want to fit exactly, but they are moving freely, so that's the most important thing. We will continue with the rest of the chains now. Then we have to put all the chains to the timing spots that I showed you last time. And yeah, loads of cleaning, loads of fitting, so let's continue. Thing. Yes. Oh my god. My favorite part of the job, man. What the fuck? No gasket. There's a strainer. Okay.
It's oozing.
Well, it's leaking oil.
Oh my god.
It's leaking
It's got an
oil.
oil leak.
So the first timing chain is on along with all the brackets and tensioners. So this was tied 90 Newton meters. These were to 20 Newton meters. Next up is the chain for the cams and the crank. And yeah, we have to put the engine somehow so I can reach to the top actually. So let's continue. The timing chain is on. We have everything on it. So there's a dot and there's a dot. From underneath again, everything is on the mark, which is fine. We put the oil tensioner there, actually both of them. I was tied to 9 Newton meters. These dowel pins which are holding the brackets are 20. And next up what we will put is the oil bridge for the camshaft adjusters along with the valves. We have a new bolt for that as well. And last thing is the oil pump. Then we have to do a turn. Hopefully it will be all good and we can finish it off.
Can't find my way back to you. I'm lost again.
Okay guys, so we done everything from the top what we could. We also replaced the connector what the owner wanted. So he brought a new connector, it was replaced. Finally TPS bring us this tensioner, which is not all tension with the spring, and we have a new timing chain, the most expensive chain in the universe. So we will continue from underneath. Let's go. Okay guys, so we have a new oil sump, plastic, because let's save the environment. It's better to make 7 new oil sumps than have 1 metal, but never mind. Of course, we will not apply any silicone on it. We clean up the surface where it should go and we can fit it. So we are installing the new oil solenoid. We installed the new timing chain cover, lower and upper. So the upper is 9 Newton meters, the lower is 8 Newton meters and 45 degrees. Everything seems to be connected when it comes to the camshaft adjusters and stuff. Next up, we will hang the engine back onto the engine mount. We still have to finish the dry shaft from underneath, arms and everything. You have to put the oil in the engine and just too many things. So we put the bottle for the windscreen washer, and now we have to continue from the top. We still have to put the cover on here, fill it up with fluid and check if it's not leaking. So left it running for a while. Top of the windscreen washer looks good. From the oil sump, sort of looks good. There's a bit of oil leak here between the gearbox and engine. Nothing we can do. The thread was damaged here. Nothing we can do. Done our best. Hopefully it will stay this way. So we're gonna put the under tray cover wheels and we're gonna hit the roads. Okay guys, so we checked the oil level, coolant level and everything. We're going for a quick test drive. We are in the Golf R, we are in the temperature, so we can drive the car a bit. We will test drive it and plug it on the diagnostic afterwards and check all the fault codes as well. So we don't really take the jobs on if customers will say they will supply their own parts, because even in this case, stuff are missing. Luckily, nothing serious. Also, we would like to see the car before we will carry out any job, because like in this case, the oil sump was leaking. There were some few unexpected issues. Nothing major, but we start Thursday and it's Saturday now, so it took a bit longer. I have to leave the silicone to dry up for a bit and some other stuff, so that's why it's Saturday and the car is still not done, so the customer is waiting for it. I must say that this guy was sort of all right. He did mention he's our subscriber and he wants to do the Golf R, and I was like, you know what, we didn't done a video on the Golf R on the timing chains, so let me do a video about it, and yeah, why not, we're gonna carry out the job. So he is actually charged for in total 11 hours of labor, what you've seen, which I don't know if it's too much or not, but if everything is in hand and you have all the parts in stock, literally if you're gonna start up one day from the morning, the next day in a couple of hours the car should be done and running and everything should be fine. Of course, the car was in the workshop for 3 days because we were waiting for the parts, and I was doing it a bit slower as well, because during the day I'm doing some other stuff as well, like picking up the phone calls and sorting out the parts and dealing with customers and whatever. I want to say everyone sorry if you're sending us email and I didn't answer, but unfortunately the email is a bit a dead communication for me. So if you want to get in touch, just pick up the phone, give me a call or leave me a text message if I don't answer. So that's the best way to get hold of us. But back to the Golf R. So I am a fan of the Golf R. I do like them. I didn't like them to a certain point because we live in Birmingham and there's loads of people selling powder and oregano and all this funny stuff. And they used to drive this sort of cars, and all of them which come for a service or whatever, they were bangers. So we didn't done too many of them because to do it properly it just requires too many parts and too much labor, and people didn't want to get them repaired properly. So this is a Golf R after a very, very, very long time, but it was all right. I can't complain about the job. It took me a bit longer, like I said, because we don't work on them daily. So I have to get a bit of into it and find all the timing tools and how to set it up and all this stuff. But the car is done now. Just gonna do a bit of a run here and there. We will check the coolant again and oil and everything, and then we can call the customer. When I gotta get back to the garage, I will do a calculation on everything what we bought and the total price. I don't know how much the customer spent on the INA timing chain kit and the aftermarket timing chain covers and stuff, but I don't really think it will be any cheaper if he gonna get it from us. So yeah, don't know, but yeah, we're gonna go back to the garage soon and we do the calculation. Okay, so we will do a bit of a vehicle abuse. We are currently on Mexico International Motorway, and of course the reason why we're doing these abusive test drives is very easy. The owner will drive the car through the whole range of RPM, and we want to find out if the car don't have any fault codes, it's pulling as it should be, nothing will get loose broken while I drive it, because I don't want to give the car to the customer, didn't drove it fully, and then he'll ring me after 30 minutes like, oh, there's a problem, I think something fell off and this and that. So that's the main reason. Yeah, still abusing the customer vehicle. We will do probably a few more turns here around the Mexico International Motorway, highway, whatever you want to call it. And I think this car is remapped. It's probably running like a stage 1. He definitely have like a dump pipe, so it's not like stupidly loud. I can probably hear the engine more than the exhaust, so I think it's like all right. And it have that bit of a pops and bangs, like decent pops and bangs. But yeah, this is definitely not a stock car, so the power is there. I mean, these Golf Rs are really good hatchbacks, like they have good potential for tuning and stuff, and it's definitely a fun car to drive. Okay guys, so we are back. I print out the invoice from the office. The test drive was all right, and I checked the oil level one more time, plug it on the diagnostic. The good thing is the fault code with the oil pressure regulator is gone, so that's the good thing. I also checked the timing and everything is in spec, which is good as well. And like I mentioned, we took the job on, the customer was supplying most of the parts. Then I'm looking at the parts what he supplied, which is the timing chain, inner kit with the PCV valve, with the oil breach, the timing chain covers and everything. I think he spent over £1,000 on material, my guess. You can leave me a comment, what do you think, how much he spent. Also, we did supply an oil sump with the gasket because that was silicone on and I think it was a bendy bend, so we have to replace it. Then we also put the new ring for the oil level sensor. We replaced the oil pressure regulator valve, vacuum pump gasket, high pressure fuel pump O-ring, and the oil pump chain along with the oil pump chain tensioner. So we did charge them 11 hours of labor. Before we took the job on, I did have a look online like how much it should took, and the manual said 7 to 8 hours. So we charged 8 hours for the timing chain replacement along with the sump, and additional 3 hours to drop off the top of the cylinder head with everything, clean it up and reseal it. So the total bill comes to £1,611. And I think it was like a prevention replacement, because we also checked the length of the chains, the tensioners, the guides and everything. There's no really sign of any damage on them, so I think it was a prevention replacement. The car done 99,000 miles, which is not a lot. It's not the lowest, but it's not the highest as well. And I think if the guy will keep it like on low oil changes, which is 6, 7, up to 8,000 miles maximum, I think the engine will be fine. It sounds fine. So there shouldn't be any reason why the engine should let go. Anyways, I'm going home because it's Saturday. Mr. Philip is doing loads of overtimes and videos on the RS4, because what else are you going to do on Saturdays? Nothing. Just do RS4 engines. But yeah, we're happy that he's staying sometimes a bit longer and helping us, because there's too much things to do. And also I'm coming tomorrow, because the owner is coming tomorrow to pick the car up, and tomorrow I have to film one more video with the RS4, which is here, and also we have an RS3 in the yard, what was dropped today, so I want to do a bit of a checky check, see what will be the outcome with that. Meanwhile, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video with something else. We'll see what it's going to be. So thank you for watching, guys, and take care. See ya.